from studying speedrunners, I came to understand that they don't think the game with the linearity that we think as researchers or designers the game, right? We know the game goes from point A to point B. Even if it is a like really open world game, like let's say Zelda or wherever, you know, you have a final boss, you have an ending, you have a beginning and an ending of the game, and that kind of point A, point B linearity exists. And speedrunners, they go just, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going through this cutscene. I'm not going from this tutorial. I'm not doing anything you want me to do. I'm just going my way. I'm making my own path. And that's just incredible to see. And that's just really something we can learn from them, right? How they view the game, how they read the game in a different language, let's say.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast number, I don't know, a lot.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. This podcast is super important, super interesting because we have a guest from outside Antidote. We're going to talk about gamification and a lovely guest. It's called Guido. Tell us about you. A little bit about your life story. What are your likes, dislikes?
Yeah, I'm a UX researcher. I've been doing this for the last 3 years now. Been working for a lot of games like mobile games, VR games, also board games. We don't make research for board games, but I also work with those, and they're quite fun. I also teach about gamification actually in Rade here in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And I'm a full-time gamer, I can say. I still play games, although I work a lot with games, and that sometimes can be frustrating because like talking about games, like analyzing games, and afterwards you go home and you keep playing games. Sometimes it can be boring or dull, but I still do, likely. And I don't know if I have a fun fact. I do lots of stuff, so yeah, that's my idea. Like,
So we have another board games fun here. Alex?
Yes, I quite actually like board games myself. I go to fairs and presentations, and we have here in Barcelona we have a strong industry of companies that make and sell board games. I also did a board game as my career's final project. And yeah, it went pretty well. I quite like designing the games.
What was your thesis about?
I made a board game about Boy Scouts. I did some research and I found out that not many games were made with a thematic as curious as Boy Scouts, which really could involve anything. And I went with Boy Scouts on a camping trip with them for 12 days. It was rough, let me tell you.
Wow.
And I learned a lot from them. And yeah, that was very useful. And I took a lot of inspiration from them to make the board game.
Well, that's
UX research in
the field.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in the field.
In the field, literally.
I was going to say that's actually impressive because nowadays there are some AAA games that don't have people like go to the place to research about their like culture or history or whatever. They just made a game from Japan, and well, let's just hope this is how they do it back there. Yeah, that's amazing.
From a game design point of view, I know the podcast is for UX, but from a game design, for me it's like vital to understand what I'm writing or what I'm designing about. So yeah, I thought the best way to do that is to go with them. And I contacted my local association of Boy Scouts, and I went like, "Hey, how do you do this? Could I come with you? I'm doing this for university." And they were like, "Yeah, if you cook for us, you can actually come." And I was like, "Well, okay." And I was a cook.
Pretty much pro bono, but you are the cook for the guy.
Well, it takes what it takes.
Was this your first time doing like Boy Scout things, or were you a Boy Scout when you were younger?
No. It was my first my first time.
Oh, well,
That's
what
nice.
experience then?
What's it called? The board game?
Well, it has not been published, but I called it. It's in Catalan, so it was called Camp Miserias, which would translate to Camp Misery, which is a wordplay on some Catalan word, but yeah,
Correct.
it's about a disaster and things happening in a camp, which really happens. So yeah, it's about managing your workers and solving problems so the camp doesn't go too well and everyone has to go home. So yeah.
Do you
Amazing.
want it to be developed, like to do it? Because it was just a project, right? Do you want to have that board game done?
I think I would need to talk to a lot of board game companies, and well, actually making board games is not as profitable, but it would be interesting to put it on my CV, and it would be quite an interesting experience. Yes.
A project for life.
Yeah.
Yes. Going a little bit back to
Yes.
gamification, I wanted to ask Guido if any of the changes that Preguntados made were like suggestions for players, like something that, okay, we added this because a lot of players were asking for it. I don't know if you say, oh, I think this feature was created just because a lot of people told us this was missing or this was needed. I wanted to know that. Just by curious.
Yeah. Yes. Not actually game modes, but specific like specific parts of the game, or even currency things, or even the pet, or how the pet works. Actually, are some suggestions from players, and also screens like specific screens in the game that look kind of like players don't understand them very well. We lift up our hands and we say, hey, players have been using this the wrong way, or are not doing what we want them to do. So yeah, those changes have been made in the course of the years, or at least in the years I've been in Broadcast.
And what does it mean for a player for you to become a co-creator in a game?
Well, actually, in Broadcast can be, I mean, in mobile games, I mean, like all the other like video games, like platform and PC games, it's two completely different things. Because in a way, you always are a part of a community, right? A community of players that sometimes you are like organized in forums or Discord and stuff, or sometimes you just, once we talked to a lady that played from else that had a WhatsApp group with like 80 different people that makes tournaments together. Like they all play tournaments. Yeah, they knew each other from the game, and they keep recommending this like WhatsApp channel and group. Yeah, they were hugely invested in the game, and they were really happy to like be physically in the office, because they just went there and they were like, oh my god, this place is real. It was like Disneyland, right? They were there, and they were really, sometimes players, mostly in mobile games, are really want to talk to somebody in the company, just to talk to somebody in the company, right? Just know there's somebody else apart from other players in the company, apart from the interface they always interact with, and that sometimes can be really fun. But to go back to your question, it's basically to participate in the community, to in a way change rules, or to play not in the way that the designers wanted to do.
So what happens to me and what I see all the time is that the players that playtest with us the games, they are super happy to feel like they're part of the game, like they invested their time, their efforts, their feedback, and that they are listened, and that they could do something in the game. They will help to improve the game. So I think it's really important to listen to them, right?
Yes, actually, the gaming community in general, it's known for the like how people want to help each other, right? been when developing a really small indie game, or if you want to like testing a huge game, you just want to be part of it because you like games. It's kind of amazing how that happens in the gaming industry, and I don't think it happens in any other industry.
What do you think? How should studios approach design when they know the community will stretch, bend, or even rewrite the rules, let's say, with their comments and feedback?
Well, I think, I mean, nowadays it's harder to do this, but I think companies need to understand that once they publish the game is no longer only from them, right? Before, in the physical gaming era, they knew that when they published the game, they released the CD or the cartridge, and that was it. The game was for the community to enjoy it and to break it themselves. But nowadays, with the patch, with the updates and stuff, they just keep wanting to have that authority on the game that sometimes they don't have because communities, I mean, well, even playtesters, they really break the game themselves. They make the game a whole other experience, or they change the rules basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have that kind of like examples from testers or something like that.
For players even changing the game.
Yeah.
We normally have games that have not been released. Yes, and we give the game to playtesters. They playtest, they give their feedback, but we don't usually see what the client does with the feedback.
Yeah.
So we report the feedback, but we don't see. We usually don't.
Yeah, unless they came back like
Yes.
some months later where, okay, we want to taste it again and we did some changes and then compare what they said last time to now. Yeah, we don't even get to see what changes they made. But yeah, sometimes I think that in our case, players need to have instructions to play because the client needs to see something specific from them doing it, which is different from giving them the freedom to do what they want. When you release a game, they can do what they want. I mean, you have instructions, but they maybe don't follow them and they start doing their own path. Sometimes that have consequences. For instance, they don't know what to do or what to, maybe they quit playing. But yeah, testing is like a little bit different because they are like maybe in a box because they have to follow some rules. Maybe for us to get results to analyze. But yeah.
I would love to see the changes the companies do to the game. Like, hey, we did this.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants actually. See the changes that we report to them.
Well, we have some case studies where we see this, but yeah, I want to see it in the game.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
No. I was going to. You get to see it once the game is published, right? You just buy the game.
Yes.
You start playing it, and you say, "Oh, whoa, that's me." That's like
That's
Leo
different.
DiCaprio meme, like watching the screen. That's me.
Yes, exactly. Do you think giving players more creative freedom leads to better engagement, or can backfire?
I mean, most of the time, yes, I do believe that. But sometimes, more creative freedom, but can be kind of, let's say, boring. Boring in a way that if you don't feel that creative freedom with gameplay or core loops or just mechanics, it can be just things to do, just roam over there, right? So it actually depends on the design of the game. I think it does. I think it does actually, but yeah, it obviously depends.
Yeah, I think it depends because you cannot listen to everyone. Imagine someone or a few like something and they change the game due to this group of people, but then others don't. So I think it depends on the change and who and how many to listen, right? If there is a pattern on the request or on the creative freedom of players, then I think it will create engagement. I always think of Marvel Rivals when I think of engagement and listening to the community. So yes, I think it depends. Listening to the community.
And sometimes it can be too late, right? Because when you listen to the community, people just are like, will leave the game for good. They're not going back. So yes, that sometimes can backfire.
But at the same time, like the games are for the players, for the community. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna do this and you're gonna like it. It's like, no, you need to listen.
Yeah.
Play test for this or research for so players to have a better experience.
Yeah, sometimes shareholders don't know that or don't think about that much. Yeah.
I think we did a podcast about that.
Oh, that's the one I haven't heard. Come on, I mean,
well, there's 7. You need to.
Yeah, there's 7 of
them. When talking about creative freedom, I remember that I had some playtesters who wanted to break the game and to like go outside the path the company create, or like fall down, like go anywhere. Have you experienced this in your games that you test?
Actually, no, but because it's a mobile experience, sometimes, I mean, it's quite the opposite, right? People don't know what to do with what they have. They like sometimes when you have like a platform game or a console game, you have places to go to break the game, or to explore. Yeah, sure. But when you have like your screen and your experience is so tight to those screens, people actually get frustrated and leave instead of just wanted to do something else. It's quite a difference between mobile and all the other gaming community.
Well, then, like you as a player, do you think speedrunning has become a massive part of the game culture nowadays?
I do think so. I mean, I'm not a speedrunner, but I'm a speedrunning viewer, let's say. And I believe it's being, I mean, also modding communities and like gaming in general communities have been like reshaping the industry in a way we can really notice, like in plain sight, but we really know that there are games being made just for speedrunners to break them and go viral, right? There's like a subculture of a subculture of like streamers and also indie developers that they want to go viral together with a speedrunning speedrunning game and with a speedrun in a stream and just go like nuts and sell a lot on Steam with a game that hasn't been tested properly or something like that. But yeah, it's become huge to me and to everyone, I think.
And why has it been what makes it so appealing to players to speedrun the game?
The sheer talent. I mean, the way those guys do those things is women. This is just amazing. I mean, it's just watching a really good full player perform something amazing on the pitch, but watching this pixel perfect movement or skills in a game that you played for a long time, and you know how they do it. Like you can watch those YouTube videos where they explain you how to like clip on a wall, but it's actually, I mean, to me, that's just impossible. I don't have the skills near the time, or I'm not willing to do it. But the skill of those guys, it's just amazing.
They do something extraordinary, right?
Yeah.
Something not planned by the devs.
By anyone, actually. Sometimes neither them. They just go with tool-assisted speedruns and a robot do it for them, and afterwards they try it at home.
Alex, I see you nodding. Do you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to comment that I've seen many videos on actual developers of games watching a speedrunner beat their own game. and they go
Amazing.
crazy.
They go crazy. I love those games. They're like my favorite reaction games on YouTube. But like they they found out that the game wasn't properly QA tested or whatever. Like they was like, how do they know that? How can they
They
possibly?
find everything. Yes.
They find everything. Yeah. Well, the case of it was, I think it was last year game Animal Well, where the creator like hid tons of things, like millions of things that he thought like they were going to be for years hidden in the game, and the community just found it in a week or two, right? It just
Yes.
it played and breaking boundaries.
They also
I-
needed like to communicate with each other in that game. Like I have one piece of the puzzle and every player has like one, so they have to communicate and check with each other and all those things. So yeah, and I've seen a lot of developers like embracing the speed running and say, well, okay, it's gonna happen. So yeah, let it happen. Let's enjoy it. You enjoy the game I made your way, and I'm designing the game for another purpose. But yeah, okay, you go ahead and have fun your way. Sure.
Yeah, once you publish
It's
the
very
game
interesting to
is
see.
for the once you publish the game is for the player, so they can do whatever they want. And that's like an example of a student like surpassing the master. I mean, you design a game and you thought you know everything about the game and how to do it fast, and then someone comes and says, "Hey, I can do it better than you. I can like crash it," and you didn't know that was possible. That's a quite experience actually, but yeah, it's really interesting to see.
Do you think that researchers or dev learn something from the speedrunners, that they break the game and they master the game system?
Well, first of all, they learn how the game can be broke, can be break. But apart from that, I think how from studying speedrunners, I came to understand that they don't think the game with the linearity that we think as researchers or designers the game, right? We know the game goes from point A to point B, even if it is a like really open world game, like let's say Zelda or wherever, you know, you have a final boss, you have an ending, you have a beginning and an ending of the game, and that kind of point A, point B linearity exists. And speedrunners, they go just, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going through this cutscene. I'm not going from this tutorial. I'm not doing anything you want me to do. I'm just going my way. I'm making my own path. And that's just incredible to see. And that's just really something we can learn from them, right? How they view the game, how they read the game in a different language, let's say.
I see you're quite interested in this topic. I see you know and that you talk like
Well, actually, as Alex made his final project with in a board game, I made my thesis, my bachelor thesis with talking about speedrunning communities.
I see.
I first started talking about speedrunners in Argentina, but afterwards I found out that gaming industry in general and worldwide communities were much bigger and much more interesting. So I focused on that, and yeah, that's my thesis. So yeah, I read a lot, and I keep watching a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, my YouTube algorithm is just like like modding and speedrunning. So yeah.
And what interests you about modding and speedrunning?
The game within the game, or like the new games that came within, right? Because when you speed run, you change the rules and you even change the objective of the game. So in a way, the main mechanics still there in a game design point of view, but the core loop, but the loops, the feedback loops, they change because you have new objectives, right? So in that way, people are really making new games. That's why when Victoria said, we talk about like you publish the game and the game is for the people now, they publish the game and the people make new games. They just make new experience with them. So sometimes you have to just embrace that people are going to break your game, and that's it.
I imagine
Yeah,
Go
go ahead.
I imagine like when you when you cook It takes hours for you to cook, but then you eat in 15 minutes. I imagine the same situation here. Devs take long years creating this game, and then speedrunners.
just devour it in an hour, in a day or two.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to start like thinking on how this like speedrunners like begin getting viral and everyone starts seeing that type of content, and a lot of players might want to do the same. How UX research should also consider like speedrunners, for instance, because I see a lot of stakeholders and clients say, oh no, I want them to follow specific instruction, this tutorial, to do this, to do that, and eventually when a game is released, they, as you mentioned, they start doing whatever they want, creating their own game. So I'm like, this is a question like a general and open question, but how UX research could also in the future consider this type of players, the players that don't want to play actually the game that they've created, but their own game.
Like how in the research point of view should embrace the speedrunners?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said something quite interesting about how stakeholders they sometimes just want players to follow a specific path, and sometimes that it's a prior conversation, right? And it just that if people don't follow this instruction, that will still lead to people playing the game. It doesn't actually correlate that if they don't make the tutorial. I mean, they if they don't want to play a tutorial, it has some. I mean, if there are a lot of people that don't want to play a tutorial, like if there's a lot of players or even speedrunners that don't want to play a tutorial, it must be because of something. Something is happening in the tutorial. Maybe the game was already explained. Maybe the rules can be explained in a different way. So sometimes that rigidness, let's say, in what the stakeholders ask and want, it's what we have to negotiate with. Talking about your question specifically, I think speedrunners, although I love them, are a really small part of the community, like a really loud part of the community, but a small one, right? Then there's a lot more people that watch speedruns like me that are the ones that really like the athletes, like the guys that really do it.
The athlete is really a great example. I quite like that. But I would also like to add that speedrunners, before being speedrunners, are regular gamers, and speedrunning is mostly about practice. So they surely have gone through the tutorial of the game, as any of us would go, and then learned, oh, okay, well, then the tutorial pops up when I'm standing here. So what if I stand right about here? And maybe the tutorial won't pop up, So I'm sure that they have gone through that tutorial like tens of times before finding a way to skip it. So yeah, before the purpose is to go fast, there is also a purpose to explore the game, to beat it regularly, to understand how it works. And then you go for, okay, and in how quick can I be doing this, or how much of the game can I skip to reach the end? So, but yeah, it's like the final step, I would say, for speedrunners. But they also play games like usual.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say that, and when we start talking, I remember like my first experience with speedrunners. I think my parents gave me like a Wii when I was like 10 or 11. I don't remember, and I had like Mario Kart, and there were a lot of YouTube videos about how you could do the race like even faster. Like there were some hidden paths that they weren't actually hidden paths. They were like bugs in the race path.
The ultra shortcuts.
Yeah, like shortcuts, like you could jump to do the race like even easier. And I remember trying to do that to beat all my opponents, and I wasn't able to do that. I was not able to do that. And yeah, I think that later became really popular. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that to you, is it still a niche? It doesn't represent the majority of players, because now we may start thinking, well, there are a lot of players that are not going to follow the usual path, but actually it's not that. They are following the usual path. The only thing is that they want to break it because of the fun.
Yeah,
Sense
because
of
it's fun.
achievement.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And actually, I when Alex said about this category, this category of athletes like speedrunning being athletes, there are really not a lot of them. And actually, the other category is that the scouters, like say the glitch hunters, the guys that don't execute the speedruns, but they look for those glitches or those exploits in the games. Those are actually QA testers. Pro bono, you are usually QA testers, let's say. That they are looking for places where to break the game just for the others to execute them in a speed run. So it's amazing.
Yes, we've had them in our playtests. Have you worked on or tested a game where players ended up discovering something that the devs didn't expect?
So no, I mean no, but I have a great example, and it is not from players; it's from AI. I know you already talked about AI, but a couple of weeks ago, the AI made a trick in the game where you could in Trivia Crack you have like trivia with 4 questions, and if you prompted the AI to make a trivia with 2 questions, it created in the game, but we didn't know how it did it, right? So it actually broke the game. But no, I haven't. I haven't worked with users breaking the game. Well, I would love to a lot. Yeah, sure.
Now let's move on to the third topic that we have ready for today. Game as toolboxes. What kind of system or mechanics give players that sense of freedom to experiment and create their own fun?
Well, the easy question here is like building mechanics, like Minecraft, Roblox, well, Fortnite in a way. The Last Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom has these building mechanics. Those are really fun, and like how you can change or break your environment to what you want to do. Yeah, to whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's really fun, and that, as Minecraft explained it to us a long time ago, that's just a great game. Just to be there in a little sandbox, right? Just to make your own pieces. It's really fun.
They know that the only objective is to create, right? And then thousands of options as players.
Yeah. Well, Minecraft it's still huge, right? Like the things we keep seeing in Minecraft, like these city builders that want to build the earth, and things like that, is just amazing.
How do you balance structured design with open-ended systems, especially when testing or analyzing player behaviors?
I think the open worldness of it all have to involve like the core mechanics. If not, I mean, if not, I mean, look at Starfield. In Starfield, you have like this open world with you can be whatever you want in space, but every time you end up in a moon or something, you just walk over there and do the same thing over and over again, right? Like, fill it with, I mean, it's kind of stupid to say this, but fill it with fun things to do, right? It's a game at the end of the day. Fill it with mechanics. Fill it with gameplay loops, right? In Zelda or in any of those great open world games. Everywhere you go, you have something to do or to find or to discover. I mean, even if it's a tiny Korok or anything, you have something to do, and that's just the fun thing, and that's how you want to approach the game in an open world game.
Are there any games you think nail that toolbox approach particularly well? What made them work?
Well, Zelda, obviously. Yeah, sorry, Zelda, obviously. I mean, everyone wants to make a Zelda game right now, or in the last 10 years at least.
Do you?
I'd love to. I mean, I love both of them. I was like a huge fan of Zelda in the past, and with these games, everything changed. But nowadays there is this trend of everyone trying to make to have their own open world game where it's like, or there are like 2 or 3 trends right now. Like everyone wants to make a rogue the killer rogue like Balatro. Like everyone wants to make their own Balatro, or everyone wants to build their own open-ended game, or not open-ended, open world game. And sometimes it can be really hard. Well, this stuff, example, speaks to itself, right? But there are a lot of things right now that really nail it. Well, I think Minecraft is one of the best games ever created, like period. Like I haven't played much. I'm not a fan of Minecraft as a gamer point of view, but as someone who studies game, I think Minecraft is just the best there is out there. It just give people a lot of Legos, but in a virtual infinite world, and with community-driven softwares that can make you mod whatever you want. That's just perfect. That's just the perfect recipe for a never-ending game.
Listen.
Also, I think another interesting example would be Garry's Mod, which is it's basically a program. It's not even a game, but it's a program that lets you prototype, lets you make games, and besides being an interesting tool for learning or for prototyping, for example, for game designers, you want to make a map, you can try to make it on Garry's Mod, and you put your boxes and you put your trees and your benches, and you try your map and see how it goes well. It has also been an interesting tool for people who learned how to animate figures or to rig figures there. And I would also say it's a great example of a sandbox where you can put anything you want in your world, and you can make the quote unquote the anything game become real there. Just to provide another example.
The game is actually the head of the game engine. Your game engine made a game. Well, Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker was one of my favorite games, like the first one from back in the Wii U era. I think it's a beautiful game. You can make Mario levels. It's just like my childhood dream come true, right? And it's so easy to make. The UI is just fascinating. You just like drag and drop, like just do this and that. Those kind of games are amazing. Are really fun. And they're actually for all ages, right? You can play it as a little kid, and you can keep playing and make it harder and more complex levels nowadays, and they keep being fun. So yeah, that's a lot of examples out there.
Have we got any more questions for Guido? Are we?
Okay, no, I don't. Yeah. No, I think I don't have more questions, but it's interesting to, like, in the future, start thinking that games are not only with like a goal of progression, but also for creativity. And sometimes clients are too focused on progression and how far you could go and how fast you could do the levels and goals and objectives. And it's really interesting that there is a community, even though if it's a niche, that is trying to see games as a creative field. And I think that in the future, research should also like start seeing how to evaluate a game in their creativity side and how we can measure creativity or creativity freedom instead of everything going just because of progression and levels and coins, etc.
Yes, and also fun games. Also, how do you fund it? That's something that we, I think we forget somewhere in the way. We forget that games have to be fun, and the fun, silly things of games are sometimes the one that bring more engagement in the way. So yeah, totally.
Well, we are shaping this, right, as a UX researchers in games.
So it's our objective to have those kind of conversations, right? To just talk to the game designers, the product team, and go, hey, it has to be fun, and the people are not finding it fun because this and that, and try to have those kind of negotiations. Try to get the best out of the game, and know what the users want. So yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely talking with you. So many interesting and useful information we have. Pleasure to have you, and hopefully we can have you in another podcast. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd love to. I really like my time here. Thanks for the invitation as well. I mean, it's great talking to you guys. It's been really fun. As you can tell, I really like this topic in gaming, but I do love talking about gaming in general. I mean, I'm a professor as well, so I will keep talking about video games this afternoon in another place. So that's basically my job nowadays. So yeah, have to be here anytime soon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next podcast.